Hello smart people, my name is Karol and this is Ads Courses, a channel where I share with you the best digital marketing secrets and web analytics tricks. Google Data Studio data sources. That's what we're gonna talk about today. You will learn everything you need to know to import data into GDS from different data sources. In my other videos, I show you how to use data blending option in GDS, so don't forget to check this one next. If you find my videos helpful and interesting, consider to hit the subscribe button now. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so let's start with some theory because I want you to actually understand the whole process and how data sources and connectors work in Google Data Studio so that in future you will have less problems while using data sources from different providers or creating your own data source. So to visualize your information in Data Studio report, the first step is to connect to the underlying data, and this can be data contained in the advertising or social media platform, for example, Google Ads, Facebook, Google Sheets, spreadsheet file, or even a CSV file. So connecting to your data involves two components that work together. The first one is connectors, and they connect Data Studio to your underlying data. So connecting to your data creates a data source in Google Data Studio. And data sources, they represent a particular instance of a connector. For example, a connection to a specific analytics view, MySQL table, Google Sheets, spreadsheet file, and data sources let you configure the fields and options provided by the connector used to create that connection instance. In addition, the data source gives you a secure way to share information and insights with report viewers who may not be able to directly access the underlying data. So you can grant access to a person to your data source, and at the same time they don't have access to the actual data. Okay, so how connectors work? So each of the available connectors is tailored to a particular product or a platform, and they provide a specific set of fields and configuration options back to Google Data Studio. Some connectors provide all the fields from the underlying data, so for example, Google Sheets and BigQuery connectors. But other connectors provide a subset of fields from the original data, for example, Analytics or Google Ads. Most connectors require you to authorize your access to the data, and some may allow you to require you to provide additional options and parameters. And once you've connected to your data, the fields, authorization, and other details of that connection are stored in a data source. So if you visit datastudio.google.com/data, you will see a list of connectors, all connectors that are available in Google Data Studio at the moment. And there are three types of connectors in general. We've got Google connectors, and they are built by Google and let you access data from Analytics, Google Ads, Sheets, BigQuery, and any other Google product. So if you're on the datastudio.google.com/data, first you will see the Google connectors, and there are 16 of them right now, and they are all free to use actually. The most common ones is the Google Analytics, Google Ads, Google Sheets, and maybe Search Console. I actually use Google BigQuery a lot. So connecting to these connectors is actually very easy. You just need a Google account and the data within these connectors, right? The second one are the partner connectors, and they're built and supported by Data Studio developer partners. And partner connectors let you access data stored in other Google and non-Google platforms such as Facebook, Reddit, GitHub, or any other data source. So if we scroll down below, you will see the partner connectors in here. And right now there are 165 partner connectors available in Data Studio, and you can simply use them to connect to many different platforms. For example, if you would want to visualize data from Facebook ads, you can use these partner connectors to do this. Most of them are actually paid, and you would need to have account created in each of these partners. So, the most common one is actually Supermetrics, I think, and they created connectors for many different platforms. For example, AdForm, AdRoll, you've got Facebook ads. If you would scroll down, right, you've got Facebook ads, you've got Facebook public data, Facebook insights, all from Supermetrics. You even have Google Analytics, Google Ads, Google BigQuery, and many other. You can use the search box to find your connector. But like I said, you would need to have account created in each of these partners before you actually will be able to use them. And the third one are the community connectors, and they let you access any internet connected data, such as your own private corporate database. So for example, if you want to visualize data from your own CRM or your own platform, you can do this with Data Studio community connectors. You can build your own data sources, and you can follow up this documentation in here. Okay, so quickly, how data sources work, because we talked about connectors, but how data sources work. And a data source is a Data Studio file that lets you manage and configure a specific connection to your data. So data sources are responsible for controlling who can view the data provided by the connector. They are letting you customize the fields available for use in reports, and they are letting you share a common view of your data with other report editors. And finally, they are providing other data management configuration options. And there are also three kinds of data sources. The first one, the most common one, is Live Connection data source. And they update the data in your reports automatically. The data remains in the underlying data set. It is not stored by Google Data Studio. And most connectors create data sources of this type. Because, for example, if you use Google Analytics data source, the data is not stored in Data Studio, it's actually stored in Google Analytics. The second one are extracted data sources, and I will talk about them a little bit later in this video. They are very interesting, and actually not a lot of people use them, but they can be very useful because they provide a static snapshot of your data, which gives a better performance when querying the data. So if you want to create a dashboard only with selected dimensions and metrics, and you want to use it on a daily basis, but you have a lot of data and your Google Data Studio is actually sluggish, you can use extracted data to make your dashboards a lot faster. And the third one is blended data sources, and they simply combine fields from up to 5 data sources. So you can combine data from Google Analytics, Facebook, Google Ads within the same report and blend the data. And blended data sources only exist in the reports in which you create them, and they can't be shared independently from your report. And I actually recorded a separate video about blended data sources in Google Data Studio, where I explained this topic and how to create them in detail. So I advise to watch this tutorial after watching this video. Okay, so using all of the connectors is actually fairly easy. If you want to use Google connectors in here, it's the easiest part actually. So you simply select the connector, you select your Google Analytics account, the property, and the view. You give it a name and connect. And now you simply have a list of all the fields that will be imported from Google Analytics in this example. So we've got all of the dimensions, and down below you would see metrics. You have your metrics in here. And if you use the Google connectors, I advise to not change any fields in here because you don't want to change the add format, for example, from text to number. And at this point, you can also add your custom field in here. So if you want, you can use all of these fields to create your own field using normal mathematical calculations, for example. And you just, create report, and that's it. If you want to use the partner connectors, you would need to actually have account created on each of these partners. So if you want to use, for example, Supermetrics, you would need to have a Supermetrics account, which is actually paid. So for example, if you want to create a data source out of this partner, you would need to authorize it in here first, and second, you would need to authorize it on the actual Bird's Eye account. And to do this, you would need to create your own top-click account, an account of this partner, right? Okay, now I will show you how to quickly create extracted data in Google Data Studio so that you will be able to create faster dashboards, faster reports than using, querying the data in a normal way. And this is helpful, especially if you have, for example, a large Google Analytics account with a lot of data. It can be sluggish. Your Google Analytics can be sluggish, but also Google Data Studio can be sluggish while changing the dates within a report or changing the pages and loading the data every time. It can be a little bit slow, and using the extracted data, you can make it all faster. So I'm in this basic demo report in here. Let's go to the edit, and here in the resource section you have these options: manage added data sources. You also have manage blended data. So if you want to create blended data, you would go in here. You can watch my other video about this topic, how to do it step by step. And right now we want to go into the manage added data sources, and you have your data sources in here that you created before. Let's just go to the add a data source now, and here you have this option extract data. So we select this, and here you will have all the data sources that you have connected on your account. So for example, let it be this Google Analytics demo account. Let's add it to report, and now you will see available fields that you can extract to your extracted data source, right? So that your data source will be smaller but also faster. So you can add dimensions, you can add metrics, and you can select a date range, and you can also add segments and filters from Google Analytics data. So let's say we want to add some dimensions. You can search them in here. So let's say entrances, right? It could be, I don't know, in sessions. Oh, sorry. If you want to add dimensions, they should be actually dimensions, not metrics. Pardon for that. So let it be, like page. The green ones are the dimensions and the blue one are the metrics, okay? And you can add metrics, for example, entrances. Let's make it fast. And last 28 dates, for example. And you simply, save and extract. You can add a lot more dimensions and metrics, but only ones that are actually important for you in this particular dashboard or report. So you won't have any other fields that you're not interested in, okay? So that's why this will be faster than querying the data using the standard connectors, because this solution will actually store the data in Data Studio, not in the connector, not in Google Analytics. It will store the data in Data Studio, okay? And you can add this into the report, and you can use this data right now. For example, you can add a chart just to show you how to use it, okay? And you have your extracted data source in here. So you can select this one, this option. So that's a good way to make your dashboards faster. I also created a separate video on how to create dashboards and reports using Google Data Studio. A step-by-step guide. You will be able to create a dashboard like this with different data, with different visualization. So if you're interested, don't forget to watch my other Google Data Studio videos. Okay, so now you know how to import data from different data sources into GDS. If you find my videos helpful and interesting, consider to hit the subscribe button now. That's all for today. Bye.